May 7th, 2024. That was the last time I posted on YouTube. I am so sorry for keeping you all waiting. I've been sidetracked with so many new things in my life that have kept me from making videos. But now, I can really say I'm back for good now. No more long breaks, just good videos from here on out. With that out of the way, let's get back to the disturbing movies Iceberg. Also, if you haven't watched part 1 yet, go check it out. Now, sit back, grab a snack, and let's take a deep dive. Mother, released in 2017, starring Jennifer Lawrence, follows the story of a couple living in a secluded house whose lives are disrupted by the arrival of unexpected guests. On the surface, Mother appears to be a simple story of a home invasion. However, it soon comes to notice that the house itself is a character, reflecting its emotional and psychological states of its inhabitants. Jennifer Lawrence delivers a powerhouse performance as a woman striving to create a perfect home for her husband, only to see her efforts continuously be undermined. Her descent into paranoia and desperation is both heartbreaking and hard to watch. Mother is certainly not an easy watch, and it certainly isn't for everyone, but me personally, I really did enjoy watching Mother, and I do think you all should check it out. Terrifier, released in 2016, stars Art the Clown, a very creepy clown that is dressed up looking like a mime. He doesn't speak, he just likes giving weird looks to people, that's all. Now I am obviously playing, this movie is known for its vast amounts of gore packed into the film. I had to find scenes for this movie that wouldn't get this video age restricted, and let me tell you, that wasn't very fun. But yeah, Terrifier is basically just a bloodbath, and actually, as the time of this video coming out, they're actually making a Terrifier 3, so keep a lookout on that. I Spit on Your Grave, released in 2010, is a remake of the 1978 original. It follows the horrific story of Jennifer Hills, played by Sarah Butler, a writer who retreats to a secluded cabin to work on her novel, only to face unimaginable horror. Her peaceful retreat quickly turns into a nightmare when she is brutally assaulted by a group of local men. The film's violence is graphic and unflinching. I couldn't even watch this film alone, so I definitely would recommend watching it with one of your friends. But going back to the movie, it's a tale of revenge. After surviving the horrific attack, Jennifer embarks on a mission to enforce vengeance on her attackers. And oh trust me, she got her revenge. The Golden Glove is based on the real-life crimes of Fritz Honka, a serial killer who terrorized Hamburg in the 1970s. The film takes its name from the grimy bar where Honka found many of his victims. Jonas Dazzler delivers a chilling performance as Fritz Honka, completely transforming into a messy and corrupted character. It portrays Honka's life and his interactions with the individuals who would go to the Golden Glove bar. This bar was seen as a place where despair and desperation were on full display. This film doesn't shy away from showing the harsh realities of its setting, immersing the viewers in the scalar and hopelessness that define Honka's world. So, if you want to learn about Honka's terrible life and learn about the Golden Glove bar, you should give it a watch. Freaks, a classic released all the way back in 1932, is one of the most disturbing movies that came out in the 90s. It takes place in a traveling circus. The film's cast includes real-life sideshow performers, which makes the movie flow better. The plot centers around an artist named Cleopatra, who conspires to marry and then murder a dwarf named Hans to inherit his fortune. However, the circus freaks band together to protect one of their own. The freaks in this film are probably the scariest part due to the fact their facial features are so hard to look at that I generally get freaked out, no pun intended. But if you're into classics and want to get a good laugh or scare, this movie might be for you. Released in 1972, Pink Flamingos is another classic that came out in the 70s. This diverse film is part comedy, part shockumentary, and all rebellion. Starring the iconic drag queen, Divine, the movie tells the story of a bizarre rivalry that determines the filthiest person alive. Divine plays Babs Johnson, who lives in a trailer with her oddball family, including her egg-obsessed mother, her delinquent son, and her traveling companion. Their quiet, filthy life is disrupted when they clash with Raymond and Connie Marble, a couple determined to outdo them in degradation. Despite its low budget and amateurish production, Pink Flamingos has become a landmark in underground cinema. However, when it was released, it was banned in several countries. Even after this ban, it brought a cult following and it's still talked about to this day as one of the most gruesome movies to ever come out. To start off layer 4, we have Cannibal Holocaust, a film that blurs the lines between fiction and reality. Marketed as a found footage horror movie before the term even existed, it follows a rescue team that uncovers the horror fate of a missing documentary crew deep in the Amazon rainforest. The film's narrative is split into two parts. First, we follow the rescue mission led by Professor Monroe, played by Robert Kerman. Then, through the discovered footage, we witness the gruesome events that led to the crew's demise at the hands of native tribes. Cannibal Holocaust is infamous for its graphic depictions of violence, including scenes of animal cruelty, violence, and brutal acts of cannibalism. These shocking scenes were so realistic that Deodato was arrested and had to prove that his actors were still alive. The film was banned in multiple countries and yet remains controversial to this day. But even after all those bans, it yet has been hailed as a pioneering work in the horror genre, influencing countless films that followed. Its raw, documentary-style approach was groundbreaking and has left a lasting legacy in horror cinema. The Human Centipede 2 is a follow-up of the controversial 2009 film. But unlike the first movie, which was more of a twisted medical horror, this sequel ventures into a pure, gruesome brutality. It's black and white both literally and figuratively as it pushes the boundaries of extreme horror. At the center of the story is Martin, played by Lawrence R. Harvey, a mentally disturbed parking garage attendant who becomes obsessed with the original Human Centipede movie. Unlike Dr. Heater, Martin has no medical training or precision, just a terrifying obsession and a sickening drive to create his own human centipede. The film is notorious for its graphic content. Tom Six abandons the restraint of the first film, instead opting for shocking and gruesome imagery. Martin's method is crude and chaotic, reflecting his deranged mind. Unlike its predecessor, which at least had a twisted sense of dark humor and a clinical detachment, The Human Centipede 2 is all about the shock value. It's filmed in stark black and white, adding to the bleak and disturbing atmosphere. This aesthetic choice amplifies the film's gruesome imagery, making it feel like a descent into pure madness. Just like all the movies we've been talking about, The Human Centipede 2 is also banned in several countries, and for good reason. Antichrist, starring Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg. The film tells the story of a couple grappling with the unbearable loss of their child. The film begins with a harrowing tragedy. Their young son falls to his death while the couple is intimately engaged. Overwhelmed by grief and guilt, they retreat to a remote cabin in the woods, hoping to confront their demons and heal. But instead of finding Hollis, they spiral into a nightmarish descent into madness. Antichrist polarized critics and audience alike. Some praised it as daring, innovative exploration of human suffering, while others commend it as gratuitous and offensive. Regardless of where you stand, there's no denying that it's a film that leaves a lasting impression. Antichrist is not just a horror movie, it's a deeply psychological exploration of the darkest corners of a human soul. It's a challenging, uncomfortable watch that forces you to confront your own fears and anxieties. Whether you view it as a masterpiece or pure stimulation, it's a film that continues to spark debate and discussion. To finish off layer 4, we have Salo. Salo is an adaptation of Marcus de Sade's 18th century novel, The 120 Days of Sodom. But Pasolini transports the story to the final days of Mussolini's fascist regime in Italy. The film follows 4 wealthy, corrupt faces who adopt a young group of women and men, subjecting them to torture and degradation. Set in an isolated villa, Salo is divided into 4 segments, each mirroring Dante's circles of hell: the antechamber of hell, the circle of Manius, the circle of shit, and the circle of blood. What unfolds is a relentless exploration of power, sadism, and the dehumanization of individuals under authoritarian rule. And not so fun fact, Pasolini himself was murdered shortly before the film was released, just adding more ominous to the film altogether. Well, that's it for part 2. Sorry I didn't include Layer 5, I wanted to get this video out so badly. I'll be keeping Layer 5 for the finale, so stay tuned for that. I also want to thank you all for 600 subscribers. You're all the best, and thank you all so much for supporting me, even though I've been lacking on the videos. But I promise you, I'm back. With that being said, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one.